Hey, what's up, family? Hey, how's everybody doing out there? So I'm just here chilling in my little, sitting in my tree, chopping it up a little bit. Yeah, so I was out yesterday, and I was sitting by, hanging out by the water, and I was thinking, the world is certainly changing. We shifting, we moving into a new paradigm, right? No longer, no longer is material things going to be considered as wealth, right? People are moving away from that. People are moving more in alignment and more in tune and harmonizing their energy with like real shit. Like it used to be, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's goal was to be rich. Everybody's goal was to have the most material stuff, cars, houses, whatever, whatever. And I'm not saying that stuff is bad. You know what I'm saying? That's all good. That's all cool. But I don't know, man. The energy just feel like it's shifting now. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? And people are more tapped into like their peace, their joy, their happiness, like the things that really and truly matter. How many times have you heard that, the filthy rich people are so miserable, have no happiness? You know what I mean? Like riches can't bring happiness, can't buy, you can't buy joy, you can't buy peace. And I can identify with that because that's something that you have to cultivate within. That's something that you have to find within and cultivate within. That's not something that the world can give you. That's not something that you can find outside of yourself. That comes from doing the work, loving on yourself, figuring out yourself, knowing yourself. You know what I mean? Like the ancients used to say, always say, and that that has been passed down to us. Know thyself, right? Know thyself deep within. That way you can do what needs to be done to cultivate that happiness, that love for self. You know what I mean? You can peel back the layers and just figure out what brings you happiness. What little hobbies and things can you kind of focus on and work on to cultivate happiness within. you know in my opinion, I feel like happiness comes from more experiences than it does more material possessions, and the pursuit of happiness through materialism and through financial wealth. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with financial wealth. No, we're all deserving of that. Come on now. If we're seated on this planet of enormous, limitless abundance, come on now, that's just automatic. That's automatically our birthright is abundance. So we're not gonna say that, but I am gonna say that financial wealth, we gotta be really careful how much emphasis we put on financial wealth, because we're living in a false matrix. We're living in a matrix that has been kind of like at some point was taken over into a different direction with a lot of illusions. So I guess my point would be, don't allow the illusion of financial wealth and money to make you think that that's real. Yes, it can buy you material things, but once those material things are taken away or fade away or get old, do you still have that joy and happiness? No, because it was all an illusion. Just like money is an illusion. Money is not wealth. Wealth is tied to what you feel inside. Those things that you can't see, touch, You know what I'm saying? You can't see or touch, but you can feel within. Like love, happiness, the feeling of happiness. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just we moving into, we coming out of this fake age of illusions and moving into the realness. That's what the new earth is all about. That's what the shift is all about. Everybody's coming into the real. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, stripping away all this fakeness. So with that is going to come the stripping away of material stuff. Why you think I spend so much time in nature, man? And after, having spent so much time in Jamaica and, living amongst the Rastas, spending time up at up in the Rasta camp and just getting a up close and personal view of how the Rastas live, so simple, you know what I mean? And they don't make materialism the focal point of their happiness, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm here in the States, when I, just observing, standing back, observing like family, friends, associates, you know what I'm saying? And just seeing how some people are just so crazy about like materialism, material stuff. Like their world does not move if they ain't got material, if they're not constantly feeding their ego with material stuff. Like their world doesn't move. And this new earth that we're moving into, this new age that we're moving into, or we have moved into, that's just not what the energy supports anymore. Yeah, the energy of the new earth supports authenticity, supports organic, real, true, like real truth. And real truth is based in love and joy and happiness, experiences, you know. So it's just a quick little observation. I mean, yeah, you can chase prosperity and wealth and riches, but I'm just gonna let you know, like, the new prosperity comes from within. It comes from within. It's cultivated within, and it's nothing that anyone can take from you. It's nothing that anyone can give to you. You know, it's what you cultivate on your own and do for yourself. So yeah, this epiphany just hit me, like, and you, hey, look, I'm not ever gonna say that anything that I come on here and say is, these are just the feelings that I have from within, from my connection to the universe. I'm not telling you to believe 100% anything that I say. If you resonate with something that I bring forth, then fine. Then we on the same sheet of music. But I'm not trying to say that, oh, I'm, you know, I'm just not trying to force anything on you. You know what I'm saying? Any of my feelings, any of my information that I get from the universe, I'm not forcing anything on you. But I do, I like to share, because I feel like each one teach one, iron sharpens iron, and shoot, y'all used to be hitting it in the comments, boy. You know, with your perspective and sharing, your opinion, and I appreciate that, and people still do. And sometimes I agree, and sometimes I don't. But that's how we grow. That's how we help each other grow. So yeah, prosperity, man. What is your sense of prosperity? Because right now, where I stand, from my viewpoint, prosperity is peace. Prosperity is peace, and no one can take it from me, because no one can give it to me. I gave myself peace. I cultivated peace within, in co-creation with the Most High, my ancestors, my spirit guides. You know what I mean? So yeah, but no physical person on this planet can give me peace or take away my peace. Mm-mm. Can't do it. So that's prosperity for me. Prosperity for me is laughter. You know what I mean? Coming into connection and contact with good people. You know what I'm saying? People whose energy feels amazing. And yeah, it's priceless. You know, good experiences. You know, biting into a piece of fruit is just so juicy and sweet. That's an experience for me. You know what I mean? And given to me by the mother. And so I thank the mother, and I, you know, always show gratitude to the mother for what she gives and provides. Always. So that's prosperity for me. So what does prosperity mean for you, fam? Like, you know, is that spending time with your family? Is that, you know, going on a family trip? Or, you know, what does that mean? Because the holidays are coming up. And people about to get as crazy as it can get with materialism. You know what I mean? Like, even with the kids now, like, bruh, like, I don't know. It's I feel like we on a slope, whereas it can go, you can go left or you can go right. Either you 100% crazy materialistic, you know, and these kids, they giving nothing but material things, and their minds are being shaped in a way that they only seemingly look for happiness in material things. You know what I mean? Because I guess it's just easier for people to do that, as opposed to provide experiences, as opposed to take out time to sit with the child, to talk with the child, to color, you know, to go outside and, like, I don't know, dig for worms, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, a child needs to have that connection, that rich human connection. And I don't know, because adults are so pulled in so many directions, because they are trying to obtain as many material possessions as possible, you know, by working 2 and 3 jobs sometimes. Then, you know, that is a thing. Like, adults just throw things at kids now. They don't really, you know, take the time out to cultivate the minds of children, and help children to have experiences anymore. It's just all material stuff. So, yeah, so adults don't really take the time out anymore. They just throw material things at children, and I mean, that is a thing. Tell me I'm lying. Used to be, we would take kids to the park and take them out to ride their bike, take them out in nature to climb trees. Like, I'm sitting in a tree right now, you know, I'm sitting up in a tree. But I don't know. These kids, man, all they know is material stuff. All they get is a lot of kids. That's all they get. And they don't know how to function or operate outside of being entertained by material stuff, by being entertained by technology. So, again, you know, what is prosperity? What does prosperity look like to you? What does prosperity and abundance look like to you? Good morning. I'm recording a video. I be okay. Okay. Yeah. What does prosperity and abundance look like to you? And how are you translating that down to your children, to the little ones? Because they're the future leaders of tomorrow. So, what do they get out of the equation? Feed the ego with material stuff. Feed the ego, feed the ego, feed the ego. And the ego is never going to be satisfied. Because that's not where true joy and happiness comes from. Hmm? Ego won't ever be satisfied. We're moving out of we're moving out of the age of, like I said, we can choose to go left or we can choose to go right. Either go deeper into the darkness or we can move into the light of what's real. You can move deeper into the darkness of illusions or move into the light of what's real. That's the fork in the road that we have come upon. It's your choice. But there is a new definition of prosperity. And you're going to feel it. If you tapped in, if you tapped into nature, if you tapped into what's real, if you're unplugged from the matrix, then you'll be able to resonate with this message. But if you really like tapped in, like if your whole life is social media and your whole life is like material shit and like superficial stuff, this message ain't for you. Nah, this is not for you. But if you tapped into like, if you unplug for the matrix, or if you even can identify, you know what I mean, that there is a false matrix, that is this system that you can unplug from, then yeah, this message is for you. This message is for you. So I'm just doing a little sanity check here to see what we on as our family. Because I know if if we vibing together, they say birds of a feather flock together. So I'm expecting, we on a certain level. Me and my family. Me and my, what is it? La familia. Me and y'all. We vibing on a different level. You know what I mean? So I don't even do Christmas. But that's just me. I ain't saying that anybody's wrong if they do it. That's completely on you. But yeah, I challenge you to look at your concept of prosperity, of abundance, of financial wealth, of richness. I challenge you to look at how you've historically thought about it and how you might, continue to think about it or change your opinion on it going forward. All right, family. Love y'all. I'll let you in the next one. Bye.